Being young and curious is a superpower, but what that energy is brought up around is the danger for most youngers. From seeing death at the young age of 7, to fighting off the police system due to life and death circumstances, to becoming a major influence to one of the world's most famous rappers' projects. This is the story of Loski and how he plans to get that music bag and take the top spot at all costs. This is Dirty Culture, a channel dedicated to all things in the music, fashion and art space, dedicated to documenting stories and moments in culture and sharing positive opinions. So kick back and enjoy the video. Jyrelle O'Connor, now known to us all as Loski, was born in May 1999 and is from Kennington in South London. He was raised by his mother Dion, and his father was from the legendary Brixton road rap group PDC and was known as Lil Nizzy. This can be cited as an indirect influence to Jyrelle rapping, but it was mainly his friends that inspired him.
Yeah, you know what it is? My friends is like a big influence on me. So seeing them, how they was pushing it, made me like, yeah, think
see the picture.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He started rapping from around 11 years old and picked up the mic as Lil Nizzy in the early days, a nod to his father of the same name. Jyrelle's musical influences were from Chicago drill, from artists like Little Jojo and Rondo Number 9.
Like that, teens.
Yeah.
All my teen years is like Chicago drill.
So when you say Chicago drill, which artist in particular?
Like Little Jojo and that. Like Rondo Number 9, all them guys. But yeah, now like that kind of died out. Like 2015, started changing, listening to like Future and that.
But that faded out for him at around 2015, and he started to listen to Future. And UK rap-wise, he was into Rimsey and Potter Paper. Jyrelle found himself moving around with more of an older crowd at a young age. He grew up really fast, not by any fault of his own. He, like countless other youths from troubled areas, fall into this pattern through older influences.
Some people think I'm older than I am, so I don't know. But I don't know, maybe like, I think that's just like down to like how I grew up, you know what I mean? Like I was never really with like my age group and always with older people. So I don't know, maybe you just learn to carry yourself a different way when you're raised different.
It was around 13 years old, Jyrelle was moving around on the roads. He was young and impressionable. He was moved out of the ends, but that didn't seem to work. And after being kicked out of several schools, he was given a chance at one final school. But that also didn't work out. When this happened, he went OT to make money. This was only supposed to last for a week to get some peas in, but it ended up being a much longer stay. Moving around like this unfortunately started a pattern that he seemingly couldn't escape, as he became a product of the environment. This started an early cycle for him, and he ended up in the system very early on, with his first stint at the young age of 15. It was around 2014 when Harlem Spartans, his crew, started to record music at the local youth centre. Their first tracks were released around 2015, including Re-Up, 3000 Savage and Shit Then. After being released from jail, him and the team released a track called Jug, featuring Harlem Spartan members TG and Biz. He was now known as Loski, and at that time he was wearing a mask in the video. This was something he did so that he wouldn't get spotted by his aunties, and was nothing to do with the roads or the feds. He then followed up a few months later with one of the first big solo tunes of his career, Hazards, in June 2016. This sits at 11 million views today. This track helped build on the Harlem Spartans name and gave Loski a buzz and featured heavy in the summer. This was followed by DJ Khaled featuring Miz Mac in August 2016. Both these tracks were heavy in rotation in the streets. This was building momentum for Loski and the Harlem Spartans, but for Loski, the wave he was riding would get cut off quickly, as not long after these releases, he had to go away for possession of a knife at the back end of 2016. Harlem Spartans were formed around 2014 and are a collective that were mainly from the Kennington area, with members such as Biz, Blanco, Miz Mac, Lats, TG Million, and many other names involved. We won't deep dive into them now, but they were an important part of Loski's journey, also having a unique journey as a whole. When Loski went inside, Harlem Spartans continued the music run, indirectly, with the bars of Loski's Hazards and the Mizzo Mac assisted DJ Khaled to build
So
on.
yeah, it was sick. Then like hearing all their songs go off, like Call Me a Spartan, Kenan Where It Started, and that was sick. Because I'm hearing my dogs on the radio. Like, you already popped down. There's nothing really, you know? So, because I'm hearing them going off, I'm like, that's sick. Like, I have to come out and do that. And then when I come out, I thought I was going to do it with them. Them lot got taken away. So it's like, I literally bounced off their energy. I think that's why it was so easy for me as well. Because their energy was going off so much, they've literally gone, John. I've just come into what they left.
They dropped Call Me a Spartan in December 2016 on Link Up TV, which featured members Blanco, Zico, Biz, TG Million and Mizzo Mac, and followed up in January 2017 on one of their biggest tracks to date, Kenan and Where It Started, on the drop 36, which currently sits at 25 million views, which actually got a Drake cosign as he quoted Biz's lyrics in one of his Snapchat stories. The following month, 2 popular members of Harlem Spartans were arrested. This didn't stop the music being released, but things slowed down a little, following the success of their last 2 tracks. Loski was released from prison at the midpoint in the year and wasted no time picking up where the Harlem Spartans collective left off. He released Teddy Bruckshot in July 2017 and followed up with a Tim Westwood crib session in late July with some of the Harlem Spartans collective. In September 2017, he joined Swift from Section Boys on a track called Ugly Faces, and then in October 2017, Loski went in. He dropped one of his favourite tracks and one of his most popular tracks to date, Money and Beef. The video released on his own channel and sits at 7 million views.
Money and Beef, there's going to be a Money and Beef too.
Yeah, do you know what? I've been struggling though to do that one because it's such a good song. Like, it's gonna be mad to make it, and it's don't bang like the first one. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, but isn't that, don't you have that the same all the time though?
I know, but Money and Beef is like one of
that's the thing, innit?
Yeah, that's like one of my. That's probably my favorite song I've made.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was like the song that like really started to really gain the traction a bit though.
Yeah, defo. That song there was like, it was a boomer, man. That was a good time.
Yeah,
still.
I can see it still.
Yeah,
I can
man.
see it still.
But
He then followed up with his first Fire in the Booth with Charlie Sloth and featured on a track with Cadet called What's Good. Loski speaks on Cadet being the first person to reach out to him, respecting his ting and linking up. He wrapped up the year on a track called Mummy's Kitchen, a collab with Mayski in December 2017, along with a Link Up TV Behind Bars session. The Harlem Spartans also rounded off the year with a Rated Award nomination for Best Breakthrough Act. After the crazy run, when he returned to the booth, Loski got signed in March 2018 to Since 93, a new Sony Music imprint which launched in the same year. He joined the likes of Fredo and H on the roster. He followed up with his debut mixtape, Call Me Loose, which dropped on the 13th of April 2018. This featured the tracks Money and Beef and Teddy Bruckshot. The intro video was released in January 2018 on Press Play. His popular single Cool Kid was released on March 1st, 2018, and another banger from the tape, Forrest Gump, was released the day before the mixtape drop. What you would notice about Loski after these drops is that he wasn't afraid when it came to his music, as Cool Kid and Forrest Gump were a change to the drill sound that helped push him. Something that you would think was label inspired wasn't, as when you listen to how Loski talks and works, you begin to realize that his mindset was far from the hype of being signed and having a stack. Loski is a hard worker and was pushed by his team and family early on after building a huge buzz. Seeing the success of others on the rise in the same space opened his mind up to the possibility of being successful in the music space. So he didn't take his signing lightly and separated the music from life early on. Music for him was now work, and the studio essentially is the office. One of the reasons being, he can't really write bars when he's away from the studio. Call Me Loose landed at number 44 in the UK album charts, which was an amazing debut for Loski. This was also cited as one of the inspirations behind Drake's album Scorpion. In May 2018, Loski had his first headline show at the O2 Academy, Islington, which sold out. Continuing the mixtape run, he featured on a track also released in May called London's Calling, featuring a cast of heavy hitters like Scraps, Asco, Avellino, and AJ Tracy. But while his music was buzzing in the streets still had a hold of Loski, which is all too familiar for the young people in certain communities they're brought up in. You could say that Loski was on the top of his game, featured on several other tracks throughout the rest of the year, including a track with Asco in June called Check, and a track called Hot Stepper by Steel Bangles in July 2018. Also, the show run didn't stop there, as after the sold out show in London, he followed up by announcing a free show run in October, hitting London, Birmingham and Manchester. Calm Down was a loose track released in November 2018, expanding on the Loski sound. And he was shortlisted for the MTV Push Ones to Watch in the same month, alongside amazing talent like Jade Carter, Mahalia and Lewis Capaldi. At the top of 2019, Loski released Bossy on the 11th of January, which served as the first single for his next project. And in February, he dropped the Dig That Assisted, No Cap. He dropped his second project, Mad Move, in March, which topped his first project and charted at number 41. As I mentioned previously, Loski was unfortunately still locked in on the roads, and he was arrested in April 2019 for possession of a firearm. Now, even though this was a major setback, Loski still had time to prepare and roll out his debut album, although under circumstances he could have done without. So with delays to some projects he had lined up, he entered 2020 and dropped Allegedly, a non-album track which charted at number 65 in the UK singles charts. He also dropped a couple of loosies, Slay and a collab with Mo Stack called Training Day in June 2020. The next releases were the lead up to his debut album, the first featuring one of the Harlem Spartan favourites, Miz or Mac, called On Me, which dropped on July 2020, which hit the UK singles chart at number 57. Next, GRM Daily released his legendary Daily Duppy on the 4th of October 2020, and 4 days later, another Harlem Spartan assisted single, this time featuring Blanco, called Anglo-Saxon. The releases were coming in thick and fast, and up next, he dropped a track with Popcorn called Avengers, followed up by the Stormzy assisted single Flavor on the 13th of November 2020. His debut album was released on the 20th of November and topped his first 2 releases, hitting the UK charts at number 39. Now, while he had been busy releasing his debut project, in the background, Loski was fighting his case. Also, behind the scenes, earlier on in the year, he announced the amazing news of expecting a baby daughter. In 2021, in September, he announced an EP called Censored, which she released on October 21st, with the assisted singles PUG, released back in August, the heavy-hitting Rolling Stones, and Whoosh and Push, featuring Suspect. On the trial front, Loski would have his first trial go to a retrial, and his second trial would go to a hung jury. Then in January 2023, Loski was found guilty and sentenced to 7 years in prison. The last project Loski released was See You at the Gates in June 2023. The project was well received and was looked at by some as one of the best drill projects of the year. Flash forward, and it's October 2024. Loski announced to the world he has been released from prison, and what we now see before us is someone who is free from the system and hungry. Hungry to provide for his family, hungry to take care of his friends, and hungry to get back to his place at the top in this music game. He's had troubles from the system and the law for years, and although he is still restricted up until a certain point, he is a free man on a mission. And the greatest thing is we get to watch his greatness in real time, with a plan that has already been set in motion with the recent release of his track Ashes, in which he didn't disappoint, speaking on the gritty and harsh realities that he's faced and still coping with to this day. Loski has demonstrated maturity from a young age, something a young kid shouldn't have to grow into so early, but he didn't have a choice. He spoke a lot about catching up to his peers when he got put away, and watched as everyone leveled up around him, knowing he could have been in those positions too. The thing is, I trust he will reach where he wants to go. Only this time, he has an advantage, as he has already caught up to himself, as his mentality is fully locked in. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because it means a lot to help me build this channel. And go ahead and watch this next video of mine that YouTube has suggested. Thank you.